So there are new reports that ISIS is now spreading into Yemen. So far, the terrorist group has gotten its claws into parts of Iraq and Syria. It controls territory about the size of Great Britain at this point, and now several southern provinces in Yemen as well. So President Obama has said that we're stopping the advance of ISIS. He said that in the State of the Union the other night. Republicans say that the president is not doing enough.
I think he has decided that for the next 2 years, he's going to manage the ISIL threat. He's going to hope that they don't, make the Iraqi government fall apart. He's going to hope they don't expand into other countries. He's going to manage this problem and punt the issue to the next president of the United States.
So will that work if that's the plan? Very glad today to be joined by North Carolina Senator Richard Burr. He is the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, a very important post in the world that we're living in. Senator, good to have you with us today. Welcome.
Thank you, Martha. Good to be with you.
So we did hear the president say that the other night. He said we're stopping the advance of ISIL. He did not spend a lot of time talking about this issue, and now we're learning that they are creeping into Yemen as well. What's your take on it?
Well, Martha, let me remind your listeners, the president also went through a State of the Union address and didn't mention the word al-Qaeda. And probably largely because even a week before that, Attorney General Holder still said al-Qaeda's been decimated. What we're finding is al-Qaeda is alive and well. We call it different names in different regions, but its reach is global. And now all of a sudden we hear of an expansion of ISIS. The reports are probably true. I can't confirm them. But it's likely that ISIS would be in Yemen to try to tap into the recruiting pool from North Africa of disenfranchised radicals. ISIS brings to the table something al-Qaeda doesn't, and that's wealth. ISIL has a tremendous amount of money from the sale of illegal crude to ransoms to other practices that they carry out. And al-Qaeda has never been as funded as it was at its early stages on 9/11. So I'm sure this is a threat to al-Qaeda from the standpoint of their bench strength, and to ISIL, they see this as their future. It's said today that for every ISIL fighter that's killed, 3 cross the border from Turkey into Syria to replace them. I'm not sure that the president's winning on his containment strategy.
Yeah. It seems like ISIS or ISIL has the gravitational pull on a lot of these young potential terrorists. They seem to be the guys that are getting all the attention. They have a lot of slick promotion out there, and it seems like ACAP and ISIS are battling. There was a report of a shootout that was going on between the two groups, and I don't know if we mind that. I mean, it goes to the notion of, let them go at each other, and hopefully they'll decimate each other's ranks to some extent. What do you think about that?
Well, clearly, two sects that are alike going after each other. This is a new event if it happened. But the reality is that Yemen is the Wild West right now. The Houthis, if ISIL's there, AQAP clearly uses that as their staging to plot attacks here and throughout Europe as well as in the Middle East. But we've got a government in chaos. It's tough to decide what control, if any, the Hadi government has over Yemen today. It's been a deteriorating point for months now, and hopefully we'll see some agreement that they can come to bring some stability there soon.
I mean, what do we do is the question. If you've got ISIS, we're treating ISIS like it's only in Iraq for the most part, and in Syria. We're treating it like there's actually a border between those two countries right now, which a lot of people think there isn't. So if they're now moving into Yemen as well, in small numbers albeit, but having a presence there, what's our strategy? What's our strategy in Yemen?
Yeah. Martha, I think there is no strategy. I think the president's become comfortable with one-liners about the radical Islamic threat that presents itself to the world. But from a strategy standpoint, if we're not willing to change our strategy in Syria, we're going to continue to see this get out of hand. If we're not willing to change our strategy in some of the Muslim countries that have a presence from terrorism, then that presence is going to grow. This is not about an ideology. It's about an ideology. It's not about an individual. And I think it's safe to say that when every military leader who's involved strategically in Syria says you can't win this with an air war only, if regional boots are going to go on the ground, now's the time. And we've got to put that coalition together. If it doesn't, then we've got to really communicate with our military forces and our intelligence community what is the change we're going to make.
We're going to need that intelligence on the ground, no doubt, which obviously is a big focus for you. Thank you so much, Senator Burr. Great to have you with us. We hope to see you again soon.
Great to be with you.
You bet.
Look forward to it.